رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, inshallah, we're going to go through the letters Qaf, Kaf, Lam, and Mim. For the letters Qaf and Kaf, we are going to, as indicated by these two arrows, touch the part of the tongue with either the soft or hard palate. For the letter Qaf, we are going to use the further part of our tongue, which is the further back part of the tongue. We're going to be touching the soft palate. For the Qaf or for the Kaf, softening it, we're going to touch the hard palate. So the easiest way to ensure that this part of the tongue is touching your roof of the mouth, which is the softer palate, is say ka 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 ka. This sound helps you touch this part of the tongue to the soft palate and produces the sound ka 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 cough. So if you do that exercise and use that technique before you actually start saying the letter cough, it has worked with everyone I've taught. The letter kaf now, it is softer. It is located just before the cough, still further back of the tongue, but in front of the cough. Okay, so in front of the cough. And that will touch the hard palate. So ke 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 ki ku. Ke 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 ki ku. And you don't need to go further back. So ko 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 makes you touch the further part of the tongue to your soft palate, inshallah. And then the ke, just keep it softer. We're now going to go through the letter lam, lam. Lam is a letter that moves or drifts away, and we're going to use, and that's due to the light or the heavy lam. For the light lam, we're going to, and we saw the same ruling for the ra. We said that there is a light ra and a heavy ra depending on the vowel sound, so the e and u sounds, which we will cover later on in the course. For this one, we are covering the li, li, the e vowel sound, and that is a lighter pronunciation. Li is light. I will use the tip of my tongue to place or touch just behind my top incisors, so away from the gum line. So before we were speaking about the meeting point of the gum line to the teeth, that's where we place our tongue or touch it for the letter there and there. I'm now going to move away from that further back and not on the bridge as we saw where the ra comes from. Okay, so just before the light ra, I'm going to place my tongue before it and say li, li, and that is soft. The heavy lam, we're going to go through that now. So the light lam, it's basically using the tip of my tongue. For the heavy one, I'm going to try and use the sides of my tongue, and this is why it drifts. It's called the drifting letter in Hiraf. And the reason why it's called that is because we don't use the same part of the tongue for our vowels. Now, here's an introduction to the vowels. So this is what the vowels look like. And of course, when you go through your Gateway to Arabic book, you will come across these in more detail. So the first one I'll go through, this is a kasra. It is called a kasra, and it's a stroke that comes below the letter. So it will be below the letter, and it denotes the sound E, E. The stroke that's on top, so it usually will come at the top of the letter, and that is a sound, a, a. The other one is a little bit like a loop, okay? And a small vowel, which we will see when we do the rest of the letters. When that's placed on top of a letter, we hear the sound oo, oo. So the vowel sound oo. So we have a, e, and oo. A, e, oo. For the e, we're going to keep it light, and I'm going to use the tip of my tongue. For the a and the oo, it needs to be heavier. So I'm going to be using the sides of my tongue. And if I add a very slight smile, that will help me emanate this letter in a heavy way. So instead of saying li, which is light, I'm going to say lo, lo, lu, lo, lu, lo, and lu. I'm adding a very slight smile in order for me to stretch my tongue out so that I can get the sides to touch the roof of the mouth. Okay. If you add that slight smile, it helps extend the tongue. So your tongue needs to be extended as shown in this image. So it is stretched out. It looks a lot bigger than this one where I'm just using the tip of my tongue and my tongue is nice and sharp and straight. When I pronounce the lam heavy, we call it in Arabic tafkhim. Tafkhim basically means it's light. Tarkik means, sorry, tafkhim means it's heavy and tarkik means it's light. We've already mentioned meme when we were looking at ba, and we said that with the letter ba, we close the lips more stronger. Now, for the letter meme, we do close the lips together, and we ensure the lips are pressed together lightly. So the opposite of what we do for ba. So we do bring the lips together, we press them, and we say mama ma ma. Okay, so mama is just a way of trying to bring your lips together, a technique that I'm helping you use. However, when we say the letter, we just say meme. Ma, meme, ma, meme. The name of the letter is meme. However, there will be, when we go through the phonics, we will explain what sounds they make. So not all the letters sound the same as they are pronounced. So the name of the letter is meme, but once we put a vowel on it, it becomes ma. Same with the letter lam. It's the letter lam. When I put a vowel on it, it becomes la, li, lu. And that's the end of our four letters today. Let's turn to, inshallah, writing them in our book. So we'll go through the spelling. So again, it was a lot like the fa. We make a loop. As you can see, number one in the picture, I take it up. And then number two is me joining that, making a slight circle, joining that circle together. Now as you can see, the arrow two, it goes all the way down and then around for number four to bring it back up. Number five is the two dots at the top. So for fa, if you remember, it was one dot and it was longer. It was like a boat. For the cough is shorter, so I'm going to do the same thing I did for the fa, which is make a loop and bring it. I'm going to take it down as I did for fa, but instead of taking it all the way across to make a boat, I'm just going to make a small circle. Okay, and then do the two dots. Just as a quick recap, let's have a look at the letter. So here you see is the fa and the qaf. It's exactly the same sort of loop, or the starting point is the same. However, after point two or arrow two, when I'm making the line for number three, the line on qaf is shorter and the line, number three line on the fa is longer. We bring it back as we've seen in the fa and the qaf, we bring it back up and then the fa has one dot and the qaf has two dots. Now for the Gaf has different shapes, so you'll come to recognize Gaf in different ways. But it's basically I'm bringing the line down like we did in Alif, and then I'm just taking it across and then just slide up for that a curved line, and then I'm just going to do like an S in the middle. So again, it's like an Alif long line, and then it's like a Dal. And then I'm just going to bring it up slightly, and then I'm just going to do an S in the middle. And that's your kaf. And remember, we said we're going to keep it light. We then have the letter lam. So lam, I'm going to bring it down over the line and below the line, and then make a curve. Inshallah. That is lam. We're now going to go through so we've done here, Qaf, Kaf, Lam. The last letter we're doing today is Meme. How do I write my Meme? meme is I'm going to make a circle here, bring it down here for number 2, and then take it down as 3. So point number 1, the arrow number 1, it starts from the line. I take it up across to make a sort of a point. I always call it the head. I'll bring it across to join that circle or that, bring it back to the point that I started. And then from there, I'm just going to make a line downwards for that arrow number 3. So here, I'm just going to take my pen on when I'm writing on lined paper, it'd be best to use lined. I take my pen over, I bring it across so it joins. So if I just start from here and then I bring the line here and then I just take it across to join that circle there and then bring it down for number 3. And that's your mama meme. Jazakallah khair. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Please do carry on practicing. Inshallah, see you in the next session. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.